So glad you're streaming with us on this Friday. Well, big news today in Washington. The House just passed that massive $1.7 trillion spending bill to avert a government shutdown. That bill now heading to President Biden's desk. ABC's Jay O'Brien joining us from Washington for more. Jay, it happened. Let's start with the basics. And what's in the bill? Yeah, exactly.
Well,
we won't be working over the holiday.
I don't have to spend Christmas at the Capitol. You don't have to spend Christmas at the Capitol. There was a Friday midnight deadline to get this done. And there was some consternation earlier in the week as to whether or not lawmakers had enough time to pass this. It passed the Senate yesterday, and then, of course, passes the House just hours before that Friday midnight deadline that would have triggered a government shutdown. This is a $1.7 trillion omnibus spending package. There you see the House floor when it passed. 225 to 201. One more vote gets counted there. One votes present. One Democrat votes no. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, 9 Republicans voted for this. Now, what's in it is a bigger question. So there's $45 billion in it for assistance for Ukraine. There's $40 billion in it for wildfire assistance, earthquake, or for natural disaster assistance, excuse me, earthquakes, wildfires, things of that nature. There's $858 billion in there for defense spending, a pay raise for troops included in there. And then there are other provisions that are more legislative provisions. It bans TikTok on government devices. It reforms the Electoral Count Act, which is the law that former President Trump and his allies tried to use on January 6th to overturn the results of the 2020 election. It tweaks the law, as lawmakers say, to make sure that that can't happen again. There's also protections in there for pregnant and breastfeeding mothers in the workplace. That was something that got added in from an amendment as well. So a lot in this legislative package, and again, is something that Democrats certainly in the House are triumphant in, or feel triumphant in passing right before that deadline, Kira.
All right, and a significant number of lawmakers were not present for the vote. You and I talked about this. So how did they manage to get it done?
Yeah, 230 members of Congress filed that they would be voting via proxy, which is something that you can do because of COVID. You can have a fellow member of Congress, a fellow member of the House, vote on your behalf. So we're not sure quite exactly how many voted by proxy yet. We know 230 said they would be. Whether you say you are or not doesn't mean you will be. But we can tell you that it looks like at least more than half of the members of the House of Representatives were not physically present for this vote. They can still vote, and they still did vote because this did pass. And its next stop, obviously, is to President Biden's desk, where he has indicated he will sign this into law and avert what was that looming government shutdown, Kira.
So apparently Kevin McCarthy would like to do away with proxy voting?
Yeah, he would. And this might be the last piece of legislation that gets a proxy vote of this nature on the House floor. That's not the only thing Kevin McCarthy rejected. He doesn't like the way that this process was carried out writ large. And the vast majority of House Republicans don't like the way that this omnibus deal was struck and pushed through Congress. McCarthy summed up his thoughts on the House floor a little bit earlier. Here's what he said.
This is a monstrosity that is one of the most shameful acts I've ever seen in this body. The appropriations process has failed the American public, and there's no greater example of the nail in the coffin of the greatest failure of a one-party rule of the House, the Senate, and the presidency of this bill here.
So Republicans poised to take power in the House come early January. This bill funds the government until September 2023. So the question that hangs over Congress is, what do these funding discussions look like in the future, Kira?
All right, stand by for hard news. Jay O'Brien, thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.